Hi there, this is Zeno, and today I want to talk about a tool that we used while I was training for the Olympics and a tool that's still used today. Okay, this is a lactate testing device, same size as a glucose tester, but in this case it tests your lactic acid concentration in a drop of blood. And the way you get that drop of blood is you use a little sterile needle. Top comes off like this, you twist it off, sterile needle. This needle goes actually into an applicator device, but the applicator is completely useless for what we're doing. And you prick the earlobe right at the bottom, on the bottom edge, okay, of the rower. And you want to prick where the bottom edge actually is red. You can actually rub the earlobe first just to see that blood flows into that area if the earlobe isn't already red. So you put it in. Make sure that there is no sweat on the earlobe, so you have to dry off the sweat before you take the sample, because sweat gives an abnormally high lactate concentration. And then put this up. And then on this device, in 59 seconds, you get your lactate reading. Some other devices are quicker. This one was the best one at the time for me to get, most reliable. As I said, Lactate Plus or Lactate Pro is now available. Lactate Plus, Lactate Scout. After you took the sample, you use an alcohol swab to swipe it off. Usually you don't have to put a Band-Aid on it because it was only a tiny little prick in the earlobe. The reason why I am explaining this device is because it is crucial for endurance athletes to know where their target heart rate is when they're training. Training too hard is not good for the body, and it does not develop the aerobic capacity efficiently, and it also brings you mental burnout. We tested on the water during steady state, on the bicycle, on the road bike, hiking uphill. We tested on circuit training, and of course when we were testing, I was wearing a heart rate belt. So we would write down the lactate concentration with the heart rate level, so that we are sure that we're training below the aerobic threshold, because it's below the aerobic threshold that you produce the best environment to build mitochondria in the muscle tissue. Okay. We also used the lactate testing device to find out if our aerobic capacity was actually developing at the rate that we wanted to. And for that, we did step tests on the rowing machine, where we had we increased the power, and we wanted to see by how much or by how little the lactic acid would get bigger. Okay, the concentration, greater accumulation. So the less lactic acid accumulation with the same amount of power increase meant that we became aerobically more fit. So that brings me to the importance of the aerobic capacity when you are in a race, racing for the Olympics. Out of the 500 watts roughly that it took me to win a gold medal, 300 of those 500 watts were developed by the aerobic capacity, where the lactate level is below 2. And the remaining 200 watts came from the lactic acid production. So there are two things happening. One is having more mitochondria possible gives you the ability to produce 300 watts. Okay, and that's a lot. That's 3/5 of the power that you needed to win a gold medal. And then what it does too, however, it sucks out the lactic acid out of your bloodstream that was created to produce energy from the production of lactic acid. So you're cleaning your body from the lactic acid as you're pushing 300 watts. So when you started needing those extra 200 watts, you still had a lactic acid concentration by the time you needed to get into the last 600 meters that was low. So you were still able to push more out of the lactic acid system to sprint for the finish line. And in my case, win a medal at the World Championship or at the Olympics. It's very simple to use. A little prick in the earlobe, you hold it up, use the alcohol swab, make sure there's no sweat on it. Something that any club in the United States can do, any club in the world can do without a problem. And that's called smart training. You know, you don't have to try to throw every rower against the brick wall to find out if he or she is mentally tough. We're all mentally tough. If your rower shows up every day to come row, they're tough. But to expect training to be done without knowing what their target heart rate is not right. So you need to use lactate testers to find out at what level your rower, you the rower, or coach, your rower, is training, so that they don't train too hard. The fitter the athlete, the harder they have to push to be within the right range of lactic acid. The less fit the athlete, the more rapidly they accrue lactic acid, and you have to slow them down. Increase the resistance, slow down the stroke rate. Okay, that was it. Lactate testing device. Very important. If you want to win at any level, this is it. All right, bye.